Good morning. It's just after 5 a.m. here in Calgary, and I'm going to show you 4 simple movements that you can play around with to start your day, or maybe between your Zooms, or during lunch, or at the end of your day. You put them in wherever you want, all right? So you're going to need a block, you're going to need a blanket, and a ball. So let's begin with the block. We're going to start on our backs in a bridge. Now when you use this block, I want to show you something. This will be obvious, but it's 5 a.m. for some of you too, so I'm just going to remind you. This is one level, this is another level, this is another level. So we've got small, medium, large. So because it's just after 5 a.m., I'm going to do this on the small level. You decide whether you want to do it medium or large. Just check in with your body, check in with your breath, and keep within a range that makes the most sense for you. Lift your hips, block comes on, and then just rest for a moment. And use this time here as a way just to connect to your breathing. And then let your pelvis just sink into the block. And if you're on this lower level and you want to go a little higher, then just watch this. I want you to see this. Lift your hips up and then flip the block. And notice if you can easily flip the block. If you have to kind of like do this and kind of do this and shift all around, you are completely compensating your way into the position. Just be a little bit easier on yourself, just as an idea. So if you can come up in and it makes sense, then you can go to the higher level, okay? So I'm gonna come back here just because it is 5 a.m., just after 5 a.m. So really, really easy breathing. Now I'm gonna angle myself out so you can see me more clearly here. Now with this one leg, I want you to start to slide that leg forward. And you'll notice that my foot is staying on the floor, yeah? I'm not taking my bottom of my foot up. You could, but for this movement, I'm not. I'm just gonna keep the foot on the floor. You're not gonna go as far. I want you to keep your pelvis where it is. This is not about straightening the leg. It's just about moving this leg bone in the hip socket, moving the leg away from you, yeah? And easy, easy breathing. Okay, and then bring that side up, and let's go to the other side, bringing that leg out. Again, the foot is on the floor. And just notice what happened further up your body if you used your jaw, if you used your neck or your shoulders, if anything else kicked in, and if something did, just pull your leg back a bit. So you're moving in a range that really, really serves you. Okay, slide that leg up, lift the hips, pull the block away. Take a moment just to rest on the back. Just notice what you feel. What the heck just happened there? Putting that block underneath your pelvis. And then roll on over, and then grab your ball, and let's take the ball underneath your hip. And we're gonna do a little bit of rolling on that outside of the hip. So I'm gonna show you something with the pelvis that I have here. So that I want you to kind of play. Here's the pelvis here, front, side, back. I want you to see if you can feel in and around the outside of this. So this is that's the acetabulum here. All this stuff around here. Come on to the outside of that hip. And you can play around with the angle of the leg bone, right? Because you can just stay right here and you'll find plenty of stuff for you to explore and what you can become aware of. And then if you've got the ability and the desire, just start to move your leg bone, not up and down like this, but just move it into different ankles and then roll there. Lots of people find that when they bring the ankle up to the knee, it just exposes more area that you can get access to that you couldn't get access to when your femur head was in a different position. Yeah? So just explore that all around. This also enables you to come right over to the side. For those of you who are runners out there, Nancy, I think you're one of them. Yeah. remember when you get IT band stuff, the IT band is a band and it connects to glute muscles and TFL. And what becomes interesting is that is more where the issues lie and issues related to that, as opposed to the IT band itself most of the time. So when we start really working at the hips, you can experience some huge changes in your running and in your walking and your climbing and anything that you're doing that involves that, when you can get up into the areas where that IT band attaches. Yeah. Okay, good. And then if you want to bring it up or move your femur head in a position that changes the orientation a little bit. If your wrists are bugging you, you can come down here. That's completely okay. You can also be straight on your back too. And of course, then there's also just standing up against the wall and doing it there. All of those work. Okay, lovely. Okay, now I'll bring that off. Okay. So from here, let's take ourselves up. You know, you can put your feet against the wall if you need to. I'll show you that in a moment. But the movement is leg is going to come wide. So this one stays sort of up. And then you bring the whole complex, leg and hip, over, 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 over. And then you come back. See how this leg leads the way. There's space, if you have it, between your two legs. And then you come over. Now I'm not just dropping this leg down. I'm bringing the pelvis around with it. So this becomes a twist. And the shoulders staying on the ground. Okay? So some things to note. One leg leads, the other leg follows, and the other leg follows with the pelvis. And the pelvis comes around. You can see my hands on my pelvis just to show you. It brings it around. I'm not going to drop the knee down and move through this hip joint. You could, it's just a different movement than what I'm instructing. So you could do it if you wanted to. And the other point is that your shoulder girdle, like think more about your shoulder, not so much your blade. Your shoulder stays on the ground, so it's not that, right? If you do that, then you lose an anchor point for your twist. When you keep this without like reefing it to the floor, you really start to develop, you don't develop, but you really can access your spiral line, your transverse plane here through your torso. And twisting is one of those movements that lots of people either don't do or don't like in their practice. But when you can do it, some incredible changes. In some ways, it frees up tension and brings this vitality and brightness to yourself that like no cup of coffee could really do. And I like coffee. I really love a good cup of coffee. But there's nothing quite like a twist. Yeah? Good. Okay. So I'm just bringing my hand over to my pelvis just so you can see where my focus is here. And you could do this on the wall. You can imagine the wall on my feet, and I slide my feet along that wall. Let me just show that to you so you can see that. You keep going if you want. So my feet are here, and then they slide this way. Yeah, like that. So if you need that extra support, or you want that extra support, you can do that. Okay, so now let's bring over the blanket. Good. And come onto your side and just take a pause for a moment and just notice what it is that you feel. Now, ideally, this blanket is supporting your head. So your head is basically in line with the rest of your spine. Now, there's a bunch of comments up on my phone here, so I can't totally tell if it's there, but that's the idea. You want to have this supporting so your head is as in line with the spine as you can. Because what ends up happening when you're here, it just becomes kind of difficult. So if you don't have a blanket, you could do something like this. But here we go, okay? So now with this guy, we're gonna bring this guy up to the sky, okay? Then we are going to start to move into a twist. Now I wanna show you something that I believe is super important. when we move into a twist, the relationship, like we did the last time, is between the ribs and the pelvis. The last twist was more the pelvis moving and the ribs were following. This twist, the ribs are doing the movement. That's where the movement is being generated from. And as I move through gravity, so I bring my arm up, now as I move through this line, and now gravity is acting on me, my obliques are actually slowing the movement down as I take that twist. So the engine here is coming from this point. Lots of people, they will come into something like this and watch my shoulder joint here. They'll do this motion at their shoulder joint. It's fine, you can do that. It's just a different movement, right? And so what I'm instructing here is this twist here. It's a twist, it's not this shoulder motion. So if you want to build your ability to twist, which is kind of the point of this particular clip that I'm doing for you guys, then focus in on your ribs moving into rotation here relative to the pelvis, right? So the movement, the engine is here, we're acting with gravity. And then here, this joint stays flush. So we're not moving that arm backward. I want you to imagine Crayola markers on your fingers. We're drawing an arc on the ceiling, but the movement is not coming from here. The movement is coming from here. Now you'll also see that I'm a bit of a fan of keeping the pelvis quiet. I know that is different than in some circles in yoga, but I like to do that because I want to foster your ability to know where your movement actually is. Lots of times teachers will say to move your pelvis because students have a tendency to move further than they really are supposed to, or they should. That sounded really bad, supposed to or should. They're moving in a range that doesn't actually serve them as well as it could. That's a better way of saying it. So then what they say is move your pelvis so you don't hurt your SI joints. But I'm a big fan of saying, how about you move in the range, discover what your range actually is. Move in that range, and then you're going to actually improve, and your SIs will be really, really happy. And so will your spine, and so will many other parts of your body. Okay? Okay, so let's take that away for a moment. Just come onto your back and notice what it is that you feel. And then let's come to the other side. Now you'll just want to flip over maybe, but I'm going to come over to the other side so I can see your faces, so to speak. And you're here. And then bring the arm up. Okay, let's find the twist. And this I find twists are particularly good if you're doing a lot of sitting. Particularly if you're in front of the Zoom for a lot. I know a lot of my clients are Zooming 10 hours a day these days. And so you're not really getting an opportunity to naturally get up and move. You actually have to think about it. So this is one way you can help yourself. All right. So let yourself move with the torso. Good. Perfect. Okay, now let that go. Okay, now you're on your back again. And feel that. Bring your legs to your belly. And let's circle your legs around. So you're exhaling away and inhaling toward. Exhaling away and inhaling. Ha! That is so not the movement. Let me try that again. Exhale in, inhale away. That's it. That was a really awesome faux pas, wasn't it? Inhale away. Exhale. So the reason the exhale, you're putting pressure on your belly, and that's kind of going along with the air going out. Oh, I crack myself up sometimes. Okay, inhale away, and then exhale down. Good, inhale away, and exhale. Okay, let's go the other way. So the breathing is still the same. They're actually interesting to explore if you wanted to inhale your legs in and exhale them out. Maybe you already did. See what it actually feels like. Fostering a curiosity in your body and in your movement. All right, lovely. Okay, from here now, the legs come down, feet come down. All right, and just notice what it is that you feel. A little personal service message I want to share with you guys is if you have tension in your body, a lot of people believe that it's just the way it is, right? Whether it's from an injury or you getting older or just, you know, like it's just, that's just my hip, that's just my shoulder, that's just da-da-da. I want you to know that it's not, it doesn't have to be that way. And I don't say that from a perspective of like you should have figured this out by now. God, no, not at all. That's why I do these videos, is because there are a lot of people out there who don't realize that when they move better, their pain goes down. And what the part of the moving better that gets missed is because so much of it's under your awareness, right? Or said another way, you are unaware of the movement patterns that are contributing. I'm as unaware as you are. There's things that I do that I'm not aware of, right? So we're all unaware of something, and we need a set of eyes to support us in becoming aware so we can discover what those biomechanical patterns are that we can't even change because we're not even aware of them. So I want you to know that there is a possibility for you. That tension doesn't have to be the thing that's the thing for you. Yes, I know it's a normal physiological process, but I want you to know that it doesn't have to be a normal way of your life. So really think about your movement, see what you can feel, yeah? And if you want my help, then I encourage you to join me for my one-to-ones or join me for the upcoming psoas workshop. And we'll be exploring, say, the psoas muscle, but also your movement. So you'll have time to actually explore movement and discover what's going on in your body, the stuff that you're unaware of, yeah? So we'll put the links there in the body of the post when I'm finished this. And you can also direct message me if you're interested in the private sessions. I would love to help you. I would love to help you not suffer, okay? Mwah. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow morning. Have a good day.